So welcome everybody for this Ask Me Anything with Peter. And as usually, I'm just going through the list here. Didn't miss him yet. No, I didn't. Peter always keeps me on my toes because he always is the last person to join. But so far, he has always managed. So I'm trusting that he's going to show up in a moment. So while we wait, allow me to have a quick look here. Are there any new names? A couple of new names. So I'll give you a very quick introduction of why we're here today. My name, as you can see, is Nadjeschda Taranczewski, or in short, Nadia. I'll change that in a moment so that you can address me with more ease. I am one of the founders of ConsciousU, and at ConsciousU, what we do is we try to figure out how to create programs that can be participated in by a great number of people at the same time, always with the same intention. On the one hand, I'm really interested in processes around individual consciousness development, while at the same time combining them with something collective, with a collective movement. So usually we do that in organizations, but we also have, at this moment in time, one open to the public program, which is our wonderful CU Money program. And CU Money has been co-developed by myself and Peter, is based entirely on Peter's work around money. And and is one of my most beloved programs, if I can say this. So, and I'm always very happy to see a number of you who are CU Money graduates, of course. One of the things that I love to do in the beginning is actually to send you off in a very quick breakout session with just one or two other people. The reason simply being that I find it nice for you to have had your voice in the room at least once, right? So you may choose to not say something later, you may choose to say something later, but this way you at least had one conversation with another person here. And the question for this breakout is simply, what brings you here? What is your connection to money work, to source work, to which is the other body of Peter's work, to love and business? Something brought you here, some curiosity or pre-knowledge or other program, other facilitator, your connection to Peter, your connection to me. So share about that for a moment. And then also notice when you think about money work, when you think about source work or love and business, what comes up for you as a question? What is alive in you? So I would, come on, let me just give a quick look here. How are we for facilitators? And okay, we'll have one group of 3 right now. And really, we're just looking at 8 minutes or something, so it won't be long. Just get to know each other very briefly. Make sure that if you are in a group of 3, you share your time fairly, and I'll see you back here in 8 minutes. Bye. So Stefan and Brili, what brought you to the call today? What's your connection, your path into this?
Yeah. Hi, it's great meeting you, Nadia, and great to see you again, Peter. I've met Peter digitally a few weeks or already a month ago, where I attended a workshop with Tom Nixon. And and this was actually the moment when I got introduced to the whole topic. And it was so eye-opening for me that I directly decided to also join the session today.
Amazing. What was the workshop with Tom about? Was that his masterclass or something else?
It was like a very compromised workshop where he introduced the whole topic of source to us and working with source, which is his, which he also wrote a whole book about, right? I don't know if you know about it. So it was not his masterclass, but
okay.
It was.
Okay. Yeah, actually, for your background, so obviously Peter has known Tom for a long time, and me probably nearly as long as you have known Tom. And together with Tom, I'm writing CU Source right now, so a program about about source work.
And
Hi, Agnes.
and there comes Agnes, as we're talking
Hi.
about Tom.
So Agnes is Tom's wife, in case you don't know Agnes yet. And Agnes was just running a free teaser workshop for CU Money on the other line. And Agnes, everybody's for another couple minutes in breakout sessions just to
I was wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. Okay. I just said to the group I need to go now and bathe in Peter and Nadia for a bit before I call it a day.
Fantastic. How was the money teaser workshop, Agnes?
It was really lovely. I think Prilly, you were also there, weren't you? If you're the same person.
Yes, I was. Yeah, I'm the same person.
You are, yes. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. How did you find it?
It was really helpful. So I wrote in the chat, my reflection is that I feel less alone, like because like I have financial anxiety, money anxiety. So this is why I'm here answering to Nadia's question. But I feel like oh, like I'm not alone, and then and it gives me a lot of warmth. Really, that's how I can feel after the workshop. So really helpful. And I'm sorry I cannot speak a lot because it's already 12 a.m. in my in my time zone right now. But happy to observe and chat and maybe take some notes.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, so money anxiety is a topic. Stefan, I'm wondering what was most insightful for you in what Tom shared and what questions are alive in you? We can already start collecting.
Yeah, so today I didn't bring like specific questions with me. It was more like I'm the founder of a company with 30 employees now, and we're growing pretty fast, and I was not aware of the source principles or like the whole theory about it. And like the journey I went through the last years was like challenging for me because I was struggling with this situation, being the CEO of a company and being like responsible for all of them, but also guiding like the vision and having the vision and all of that at the same time, not being like this patriotic kind of leader. And I always struggled to bring it into the right balance. And with the source principle, I felt like very much like understood in a way. So it was eye-opening that there's like something I felt like the whole responsibility for where we are going and why we are doing things is like somehow I feel it so strongly, but I never had words for it, or like it was hard for me to share it with other people. And suddenly there was like an explanation for me. So this was like very how do you say, healing in a way. Yeah.
Thank you, Stefan. Would it be okay to double click on something that you were just sharing? People are just coming back in 20 seconds or so, but I would be interested, Stefan, maybe you can think about it for a moment. You said it was healing for you to hear about the source principles, to sort of reflect on what do you think might change in how you approach, how you run your organization now that you have discovered the source principles. And for everybody else, welcome back from your breakout groups. Peter has joined us. Yay. Peter, I said you always keep me on my toes, you know. This is what keeps me young.
I'm sorry, Nadia. I had an old link or something, and I couldn't find it until. But you did wonderfully to get me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here as always, Peter. And as you were in your breakouts, we had a few more people join. One of them is an entrepreneur who was just sharing that he recently came across the source principles in a workshop that Tom Nixon was leading, and how relieving it was for him to hear about these principles. And one of the questions I had for Stefan was, Stefan, how do you think leading your organization might be affected by knowing the source principles now? What is shifting for you, if you don't mind sharing a bit?
No, sure. I'm super happy to share it. So for me, first of all, I'm super happy to see Katharina again. We met in the workshop. Great to see you. So what changed for me is that I think I'm a lot more conscious about the situations when I when I'm having, like, I have the feeling like this is my part now. I need to take ownership now and take responsibility. And before I was like, I'm trying to shift as much responsibility as possible to others, to also have like this, how would you say, like, we're organized in holocracy, so we try to shift the power throughout the organization. But with the source principles, or the whole topic about source, I kind of rediscovered that there's certain roles that are kind of coming with me as the founder and the source of the company that I need to take ownership of. And this helped me a lot to get to be more conscious about which responsibilities I need to take, and which I can shift to other people without any without any how would you say that? Don't know. I'm missing the word.
That's
Yeah.
totally okay. Stefan, actually, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to hear, to tie in Peter, because what you've already shared, I think, is so rich. Because one of the questions or pushbacks that we sometimes see in organizations that work with holocracy or sociocracy or any other kind of, what is sort of falls into the realm of self-organized organizations, is that it sounds like a step back into a patriarchal system, right? This idea of that there is a source and that there are certain responsibilities and rights that come with being source. So Peter, I would be really interested to hear your position of, since you've already, you've dealt a lot with the sociocracy, at least as far as I know. How does this all tie in?
Well, I see sociocracy, holacracy, and some of the other new kind of, they're not the only consent type processes for group, better organizing group dynamics, but they only work if there is an acknowledgement of source. And that's my experience. That was my first, when I first came across them, I saw, I don't know how this can work without source. I hadn't really been researching the source principles yet, although I actually tuned into source for the first time, I think in 2001, something like that, way before I started researching it. So I was sort of inquiring. I see sociocracy, and then came holacracy, and I saw them, and I wonder whether they will really work. And then as time went on, I saw that there are the difficulties without acknowledging source, but if you have source and sociocracy, or source and holacracy, then they are brilliant, because the two actually fit very well together. And, there's an advance there all around. And our good friend who's written the other source book, Stefan Merkelbach, calls his work dynamic participation, the dynamique participative in French. And that is actually source. He's a sociocracy practitioner. He's put the two together in a particular kind of way. So I've always liked these other paths, but I've seen that without source, it's difficult to manifest them, and there are disadvantages. And Stefan, I'd love what you said about it being relieving for you to discover source principles, because as I often say, there's nothing new that I've discovered. We all know them inside, because we're working with them intuitively, every single one of us every day, in small decisions we're taking. And we tend to ignore the process we use for small decisions every day when it comes to more important and larger decisions. But if we just notice what we're doing every day with really trivial decisions and follow the same process, that's all the source principles are.
Stefan, I'm wondering, now that you have Peter on the line with you, and now you're thinking, I'm assuming, about how you can marry these two strands of thinking and practice, right? The holocracy with the source principles. Are there any questions that come up for you and how to introduce this to your organization, or are you already clear on it?
Are you asking me now? Okay. First, thank you for your interest. From Tom, I got the tips or like the recommendation to not introduce it at the very beginning, but leading with the consciousness of it. And I'm trying to do it exactly like that. And I think for me, it made like a huge change already. And I'm much more confident now in the situations where I notice I need to take the responsibility now. And this is my topic. I need to step in now. But also like outside of the organization, it changed a lot for me. It's what Peter just said, that in like daily situations, I noticed that there is like the energies of source that are there, and just by knowing about it, it changed a lot in my daily life as well. And I think from there again back to into the organization, it's like it's a whole like new perspective on life, I think. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so no open questions at this point. Okay, well then I would remove the different spotlight videos so that I can actually see who is in the crowd here. What are the questions that are coming up for you? You always know that this is the moment to... Vera, you have your hand up if I see this correctly.
Thank you, Nadia. And I would dare to be selfish and not selfish, and kind of dig a little bit on creativity of you, Peter, and maybe also you, Nadia, and everyone else who knows a little bit the Love and Business Network, if that's okay. Because we're in the preparation of the second salon of the Love and Business community, which will happen in the Netherlands. Actually, well, the decision on the venue is just about to happen. And in a conversation with Joop, who is present here right now as well, I realized, and a few others of the team, that the name for the first salon is not applicable for the second salon. And that has a few reasons, probably also with the development of the initiative itself, etc. And I'm curious whether I can share a bit of context and kind of hear a few ideas about what the name of the next salon could be, because I'm not sure yet. Is that okay? Is that a good use of our time here together? Yeah, okay, I see you nodding, both of you, Nadia and Peter, so I'm just gonna go ahead. Okay, so where are we? So the first salon happened in Dresden last year in October. The title was actually suggested by another member of the community, Alfred, and it resonated with me and was funny and kind of inviting for that purpose. It was In Peace with Money, Honey. And that felt like a kind of low threshold invitation to people who, in my feeling, in the region where we were, which was Dresden, which is East Germany, rather reluctant to go with the topic because of historical reason and whatnot. And a bit cute in a way as well, you know? So it's like, oh, it's not that, let's talk about money. It's not that, whatever people have for associations. And now, so we're going to be in the Netherlands, we're going to be in Amsterdam most probably for the next. People really have no problem with money there too much. There are lots of companies who are a bit more commercial in their approach. But I mean, I've been living in Amsterdam, so there are also lots of people and small initiatives which really try to turn the tide in a way, to be more conscious about what money and their business have as an impact, both on the social and the ecological network that we are all living in a way, the web of life. So, plus we are now in a phase with the team as well where we're really looking into how can we move that whole endeavor away from this one event thing into, so this is a series, people get ready, it's going to be a series, it's going to be interesting for more than just one time, and it's going to lead up to the Congress. And so in that sense, it might also be interesting to go in partnership with other companies that also kind of bring in their community, but also give more of a financial pool for us as the team to work with. And how that's going to be figured out, we'll see. It's part of the process, but this is the context in which I'm searching for a name of this endeavor. So it's about, we move away from, oh, look, here's a pop-up event. Let's kind of find out in a playful way what your relationship to money is, and let's showcase beautiful initiatives, projects, companies who are already having a good relationship, or working on a good relationship, and to other people with and without money, and to their environment in a sense of nature. But we are moving into partnerships, and we are moving into growing momentum for something bigger to come. And we are a team now, and not only Vera who's gathering her team. I'm wondering whether that's already enough information, or whether there are other questions that came up when I was sharing. For now, specifically to you, Peter, also to you, Nadja, or anyone else.
Well, I'd be interested to hear what names you've come up with, rather than that we come up with names.
Okay.
To give us like a lead on the choice.
Mm-hmm. Not too much, to be really honest. It's just that in Peace with Money, Honey, it's not anymore. No. It's in the direction of, if I would have to come up with something from the top of my head, it's more about, it's about, I mean, it is basically also the whole series of events is about really shifting paradigms, not only by talking about it, but really kind of by supporting projects that already do the work with the help of Source and Money Work and the platform where they can kind of be seen. And so it's about kind of really not only talking, but really doing. And it's about not having to do that alone, but being able to connect with people who were on that same road, but didn't know that you were on the road as well. So maybe it's about kind of growing momentum for love and business. I really, I'm searching hard in a way.
Can I say something, Vera?
Sure, if that's okay with our moderators here, then go for it.
I guess I've been thinking about this because Vera put the question already up earlier. I'm living on a boat, you know, Peter. I'm living close to Amsterdam. And one of the things I had in my mind, which I've not shared with Vera or the team yet, because I'm just playing with it, and we're gonna, is I thought in the area of let's turn the tide with and without money, just building on what we have been doing. So it's a thought.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it fits like what we're trying to do with the love and business community, of trying to grow the importance of Source with the projections of money, the reclamation work. So it's along those lines that I'm thinking, honoring also this location here. We are looking at the tide in the water.
If I can just add in a little bit of information from my own experience, and maybe this will help with the title or maybe not, I'm not sure. And maybe it's not present experience, it's more past experience, so it may not even be accurate. But my experience of Holland, of Dutch, particularly professionals, coaches and consultants, was that very often they're doing exactly the same work. And I remember with several, I said to them, oh, that's really interesting. You're doing the same work as, and I mentioned as one name or other names. Why don't you get together? And what I saw was collaboration was never, it was like a taboo subject between people doing the same kind of work in Holland. It's like nobody wanted to work together. So I think, I think this is the real challenge. At least it was in the past, and I'm not going back that many years. So I think I think there's a real theme there in terms of people who are particularly, let's say, in the spiritual movement, actually wanting to get together, to partner together and do their stuff as a team. I don't know if that's still accurate, but I just throw that in as well. And it's like the same thing with, there's a bit of the same, I heard the same thing with the Belgian breweries, for example. We're going across the border to Belgium now. But somebody who came in from a brewery family explained to me once in Belgium that beer brewers will never work together. They'll be, 1 kilometer apart, but they're brewing their own beer and they won't have anything to do with the neighboring brewery, with the neighboring partner, even whatever. So that's the feeling I get. Also the challenge in Holland.
So Peter, I have a proposal for a bit of a process here. Because I don't want to spend all of our time on this, but I do think a sort of a very quick brainstorming session. So I already wrote some of the words in the chat that came up during Vera's sharing and Joop's sharing. And if you could just for a couple minutes, just type in there whatever comes to your mind. Don't worry about it being stupid or unhelpful. I will give Vera access to the chat results later. So maybe there's something in there that is actually helpful so that we just have this moment of, let's do some fireworks for Vera and the team and see what comes of it. Okay. So everybody one sentence or one idea. Then she has more than she needs to put something together. So we have growing love in business with and without money. Emergence was a word that was important. Why can't we work together is a question that came up.
Mm-hmm.
Turning the tide with love.
Mm.
Like that. That gets some Amazing. What else is coming up? Just type something in. Business can do more. Yes, certainly can. Right? The journey to money. And if I overlook somebody, so you just scream. Cooperation for social and ecological impact. Turning the tide with love and money, if you have it or not. Like that. Elevate love. I'm getting a lot of language and imagery around sea, ocean, water, sharks, fish, and other marine life. Wonderful. Okay, what else is popping up? And in a way, just to give this some meta context here, what we're doing is Vera is the source of these events, right? She has taken over this role from Peter. And in some ways, what we're doing now is a typical supporting a source process, right? Where at this moment in time, she shared with us where she is at, what her questions are, the field of the unknown that she's stepping into. And those are the moments when a source can actually call on her field to say, I need support, I need help, I don't know what the next step is, what the best idea is. And, this is, of course, only a mini process, but this is how it works, essentially. The ultimate call is then, again, up to Vera as the source to really sense into what is the right title for this upcoming event. And I'm wondering on that note, Vera, as more and more ideas are coming in, surfing the waves of loving money, like that too. navigating the tide together. Is there anything that is emerging for you, even just sort of in small ways? What's coming up for you?
I do the things that resonate the most with me is kind of really connected to this. We're close to the water. We're in a country which is very much connected to the water. So use the metaphors of the water, this turning the tide and navigating. That's really surfing the waves. That's something that resonates right now with me. And now the rest is probably playing around. So that helps a lot. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Vera, for sharing. Okay, so I'm going back to my tiles to look what is coming up for you as a question or a comment around money, sourcing something in your own life. Judith, I see your hand up if I'm right. Can you find the unmute button?
Okay, thank you. I didn't know if someone else wanted to talk. So my name is Judith. I'm working in a family constellation. I made money work with Peter during 1 year. We made the classes with Ilona and in French. So I will try to speak English as better as I can. And now I have a demand to make family constellation about money. And it's about the woman has some trouble about legacy, and she's stuck with this legacy and her brother. So according to her, she's stuck because of her brother. She cannot get the money from the legacy. And she's asking me to make this constellation work for free until she gets the money from the legacy. So what I'm understanding about what's happening, she's asking me to be stuck with her, waiting together to get this legacy. There is something kind of these things. And I also see that she's making the same pattern than she's asking me to make the same pattern than what she's doing with her brother, or what the brother is doing with her. I don't know exactly, but she's asking me to be stuck with her in a way. So on one side, I want to help her, and I'm quite open to make this and wait for the money. And in the meantime, I don't want to be stuck with her. At that point, I understood, talking with Jo at the beginning of the session, that also she doesn't want to take action in justice with her brother, because she wants to be the nice one. And that position I know very good. So I'd like to be the nice one and say yes, but in a way, I understand that if I'm doing what she's asking me, I will not help her. So I'd like to get your advice about that, Peter.
Oh. Thank you, Judith. Thank you for sharing this. And your English is excellent. We've never spoken in English together before. That's very good.
That's right.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit shy to speak English, but it's...
Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect. I don't know. You know, a question like this could be answered in both directions. From a rational point of view. In other words, one could present arguments for, and one could present arguments against you taking the mandate for free. But from a feeling level, as you are sharing it, my feeling is you should not accept it. That's just purely from an intuitive feeling point of view. It's something to do with it's like she's asking you to make your fee dependent on a successful performance.
Yep, exactly. What's not the point of a family constellation? You don't know.
Exactly.
There is something bigger than us, so I cannot.
Yeah. So she's asking you to then for a narrow performance, which maybe not be the result of the constellation. So the result of the constellation is a larger thing, which itself is worthwhile, whatever it comes out at. So that's really the argumentation. If you feel like being paid for that or charging for that, that's what the constellation is about. And not for, the narrow performance, unless you yourself would feel that's okay to be paid for performing. So that's where it comes back again to you, of course.
Okay, nice.
And
maybe Nadia has something to add.
yeah, I thought that was really wonderful, the distinction between on a sort of conceptual level and on a feeling level. So to first separate out these two layers, because again, as you said, you could argue for either. And I'm interested, Judith, in what you were sharing about what is it that you are trying to be and avoiding to be in this process, and if there is a quick reclamation that you could even try out here. So what do you not want to be seen as in this relationship with this client?
I'm not sure I get what you said, but what if I'm good understanding, I see that my reclamation has something to do with being nice and not be paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there, the feeling is right for me. The feeling of Peter is right for me, because there is her problem and there is me with my practice.
Right.
Beginning practice.
And
And
so let me double click on something quickly. Yeah. So if you were to insist on being paid, regardless of the situation your client is in,
she will not be able to pay, according to her.
Maybe, yeah. But what would that make you? What is the judgment that comes up about yourself when you would insist on that?
That I don't help someone daring to ask for something for free.
And what would that make you?
And in the meantime, it's not about, I don't have any feeling about her. I don't know. She's asking, but there is something that I cannot exactly point about. She dared to do it. For her, it's not a problem to dare it. If I could understand that for her, it's a real challenge to ask it, then my reaction would be different, I think.
Okay, so there's if I may add
something else underneath.
So Judith,
about the fact that
correctly, do you sense a sense of entitlement in this client?
Entitlement, what does it mean?
Do you have a French word?
Qu'elle a le droit de demander.
Yes, she has the right to ask that. For me, she has the...
It's more than the right. It's you know how some people just have this air of I deserve to get this. So I ask from a place that is actually asking to get a yes because I expect to get a yes, rather than a place of this is a real risk that I'm taking by asking you because I'm actually expecting you might say no.
Yes. What I don't like is if she's not asking me, she's asking her questions such as I am the only one that would help her, something like that would be able to help her, such as she's she's putting me in a position that
Where you shouldn't be able to say no.
yes, something like that.
So
But because I know her situation, because it's in my I don't know how we say that in English, but it's kind of something that I know in my own system that I still doesn't have
So Judith, what
something
Nadia is
kind of echo, and
yeah.
I cannot find which one, but there is something that I have to reclaim and that I doesn't see really good.
Yeah. So what Nadia is asking you, and coming to this point now, you say no to her now. What does that make you if you say no?
In a way, some of release.
No. No. The person, your identity. You're a bitch. You're a nasty lady.
Ah, yes, I'm a bitch. I'm a nasty lady. I doesn't have any hurt. A woman
without any feeling.
Yes.
You're heartless, yeah.
Heartless.
Yeah, I'm heartless.
And cold.
Probably. I know that's not right, but
yeah, of course it's right.
Heartless, maybe yes.
Yes, you're a cold and heartless lady.
Yeah.
And greedy, probably also greedy.
Yes, greedy.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm greedy.
Yes. Okay, Judith, just feel that in your system for a moment, because you know the work, right? So yeah. Peter and I have been sensing that there is that part of where you're trying to avoid her judgment. And of course, you know that if you own this judgment and truly integrate it into your concept of self, it doesn't have any power over you anymore, right? If you own, well, yes, I'm a greedy bitch, heartless, greedy bitch.
Capitalist, Judith.
I am a greedy bitch.
And a capitalist.
Oh, that's a nasty one. And the capitalists.
Because that's what she'll tell you.
Only for money. I'm doing things for money.
Yeah.
And there is another quality there, Judith, that I sensed when you were talking about this client, which has something to do with the power of emotional manipulation or even extortion, right? Yeah. So what happens if you own, I'm an emotional manipulator, and it's fantastic.
I'm an emotional manipulator.
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty good at that. You're pretty good at that, Judith.
See, this is the place where people come to be deeply uncomfortable, and we own that.
And you like it so much.
I love
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And you know the polarity. You do the polarity work yourself.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Judith. I think that was a wonderful example. And I think there's a lot of capitalists that need to be reclaimed in this field. So you're not the only one. Okay, Fabian, I'm going to highlight you.
Thank you. Hello, Peter. Hello, Nadja.
Hello.
I've got a question which relates to my former business life, because I feel that I haven't been the source of the 2 companies I had, and that's why it kind of went awkward in the end. You know, haven't been good endings with both companies. So my question is, what happens if you are not the source, but let's say the supporting source maybe of someone who has an idea, and you engage, and how does it come that you don't feel satisfied?
So how come you call them your companies?
Well, I've been a shareholder. But you're right. It's a very good question.
So you know, when you say they're your companies, it sounds like you're the source.
I think I haven't been. That's what I was thinking about lately. I think I haven't been the source really, because I did not feel comfortable with the execution of the work and with well, that's a long story, but to cut it short, it's like there were a lot of misunderstandings between my partners and me.
So it sounds
And
like you were the source.
thank you very much. Yeah. Okay,
But
with that I can work.
sounds like you were the source, but you didn't like taking the responsibility, the authority, and the power to be source.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in other
This
words,
sounds. Yeah.
So there was a gap, and other people came in and filled that gap, and that would cause conflict, and that would cause confusion,
Mm-hmm.
and that would also mean an uncomfortable ending.
Mm-hmm.
So
Makes total sense.
So maybe you work with that, because you really, it sounds, the way you're talking about it, it sounds immediately like you are the source, you were the source of these companies. And it's a typical situation where you have a person who is source, who is not fully, doesn't take their full position 100% in the saddle.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's a learning process. If you start the next company, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Fabian, before we let you off the hook, so firstly, I also think, you know, one very clear sign was the moment Peter said, well, I think you were the source, you said, thank you. Right? So there's something.
Well, it's so logical. It's so logical. Sorry.
So
It
what
is,
happens if you say, I am the source?
I am the source. Yeah, I feel, yeah, there's a feeling of kind of happiness, actually. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's great.
Okay, so allow your body to feel that, right? Because there really is joy in acknowledgement of reality in a way, right? Our system knows. And then the other thing I would be interested, and since you've done CU Money, you're familiar with, of course, the projection work, is I'm wondering, what judgment were you trying to avoid in these companies that made you such a weak source? So who
I'm
were
a
you trying to-
capitalist. I'm a capitalist.
Yeah, we're
That's
on the same
very
subject.
clear. It's very clear. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
You
well,
know,
then share it with the group. I'm a capitalist pig and only interested in money.
I'm a capitalist and I'm only interested in money.
And you can be a pig as well.
Yeah, I love to be paid. That's not the question.
No,
you know.
a pig.
Pig, yeah, like a capitalist pig and an exploiter and whatever. Yeah, manipulator. What I mean, there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
okay. Don't fall into, you know, a part of you is grieving that, but allow yourself to really drop into the power of that for a moment. And say it again as if you actually mean it. I'm a capitalist pig, and it's good so.
I try. I'm a capitalist pig and it's good so. It feels good.
It really is, because you can see all the pigs that you attracted around you by not being the big pig yourself.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so in a
Good
way,
learning.
you know, you attracted all the pigs so that at some point you would push back and be the bigger pig.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, let's see. Not for now, but maybe yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Fabian, does that feel like you're taking something away that's helpful? And
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, this is like, it's quite enlightening. It's like, of course, because I didn't want to be a capitalist, I couldn't see that I was the source. Of course, because business means employing people, means having turnover, means having, I mean, I had, you know, I was the one caring for the people and for the employees, and I was CFO, but it always was with a, like a kind of a I have to do more because I feel bad about being a capitalist, you know?
Yeah.
And that's also why I could not reclaim me being a source and being responsible.
Yeah.
Not,
Thank you.
let's say,
Thank you.
not the joy of being responsible.
Yeah.
You know, I had the burden, but not the joy.
Wonderful.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing
You're
that.
very welcome.
And you know, it happens to be that Fabian has invited Olga and I to dinner in a few days. So I want a bottle of champagne to celebrate the capitalist pig that you are.
We do that. Okay.
Fabian,
Thanks.
we'll see you
It's going
soon.
to be an interesting dinner, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm very sure.
Oh, wonderful. Kerst, you're the last one up before we close for today.
Yeah, thank you, Nadia. Peter, you mentioned that there seems to be a kind of a taboo working together for coaches or consultants or so. And that immediately struck a chord with me because I tried for so long to get people to working together, and it didn't work for such a long time. In the meantime, it starts working, but I still cannot grasp what went wrong all the time. So what you just explained to Fabian, yeah, maybe that's a part of the story, but I still don't get it fully. I don't get the relationship of the taboo and being source.
Well, I was referring specifically to Holland, and I guess you're from Holland, from the Netherlands.
No, I'm German.
Oh, you're German. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really analyze what I saw, particularly there. But there was something around, and it's a irony, around the people who are advocating collaboration and not collaborating really themselves. And this is what I experienced there. In other words, they're doing all this work on the surface and maybe going into companies and doing teamwork, but are not really part of a team themselves or are resisting it themselves. So I'm not sure if I've got to the bottom of it myself, Kerst, but I was pointing it out because it may be something that where a title of Vera's, you know, salon could speak right into that, because I imagine at some level there's some pain there amongst the people doing this work. Of course, if they're well paid for doing their teamwork, they will ignore that. But it's something to do around, could be something to do like with the brewery companies around competition, not being able to get out of the competition, even while they're preaching collaboration. That's as far as I can say. But how does this affect you right now? I'm coming to what Nadia's about to ask you, I think.
It's not affecting me at the moment, but I try to actually work together with other coaches and consultants for years, and it just didn't work out. And in part, this was probably because I was not owning my source role. I was trying to initiate a collaboration, but I was not taking full responsibility. And maybe that's what changed it, because now I really accept that I currently have a circle of people working together, and I took the source role actively.
That makes perfect sense.
We are not really doing big business, but it's starting. So maybe that has changed it. maybe that was the major step for me, because I did not know anything about source at that time. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, that's a very good, that's a wonderful echo actually on this whole subject. That, you know, if you're the source of a relationship, to make the relationship work, you have to acknowledge your sourceness in there. And of course, this applies in business as well as in a personal relationship.
Yeah.
And deal with all the challenges that come up there. I can share, I have a particular challenge with my partner, who I've been with for 30 years. My personal partner, Barbara. We're going through some really interesting stuff right now because she's the worst specific source you can imagine. She's also very bad at the relationship to money. You know, it's the challenge that I've created for myself, and it keeps me developing. But it's really interesting because we're just going through a big removal right now, and I'm the source, very strongly the source of what's happening here. And whenever she wants to help me all the time, whenever she keeps asking me how she can help me, but whenever I ask her to do something, she says no. So I'm having a great time, and finally she's come up with realizing just yesterday that in her life she's never obeyed, she's never served, and she can't stop thinking of what to do. In other words, what she does is she keeps telling me what I should be doing instead of just doing what I feel needs to be done. So I'm saying this because, you know, the challenges don't end with this work. They continue, and you know, they challenge all of us, of course. Yeah. So thank you for the advances that you've made so far, and we all keep just doing the work.
Yeah,
thanks. I can relate very much to this, especially what you shared, because I have a similar challenge at home. Nadia knows this.
Yeah, so that challenge, so maybe we can take all of us that into the evening to think about our partnerships, our personal partnerships, and how serving and guiding and asking and offering, how all of that works in our relationships. I think that's fascinating. So Cass, thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah.
And as we're moving to a close, Peter, I also wanted to say I was so struck by your sentence of why are people that teach other people how to collaborate often so bad at collaborating. I was like, oh my God, mind blown. Right. So thank you for this. As we are now closing, Peter, any closing words on your end?
Oh, as usual, Nadia, just thank you for launching this series and doing it. It's always so rich, and particularly you know, and your participation and what you do with the participants gets richer and richer and richer the more it goes on. So I'm so grateful to you, ever.
Thank you so much. Everybody, let's do a little goodbye ritual. Just unmute yourselves so that we can make a little noise to say goodbye. Find somebody in a tile next to you so that we can create some connections with fingertips in these disconnected rooms. It's wonderful that you've all been here. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again for the next AMA. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Tschüss.
Thank you.
Cheers.